Big game Bill Beatenbow just landed a big-time recruit. Yeah, you know what? I said it, and I'm going to back Bill Beatenbow here because although some of you guys, for some reason, don't think he's that great of a offensive line coach, yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. Bill Beatenbow just landed a massive four-star offensive lineman. We got to talk about it. But before we dive into it, and before we talk about other options Oklahoma has at the offensive line position, I need to hear from y'all. So make sure you're jumping down in the comments and joining the discussion. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are either around the recent commitment or where do you want to see. Don't tell me, well, we need more guys. We need more experienced starters. No, tell me exactly who do you want Oklahoma to go out there and get. And if you have not already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Guys, thank you for tuning into the PG Show where we talk about all things college football. Now that we've taken care of the housekeeping, we got to talk about the four-star offensive lineman, Pier, Louie, who has committed to the University of Oklahoma. But here's the deal. If you've been watching this channel, you know that this is not a shock to you. We've been talking about how Gus and the UCF team, they did not make it for in-home visits. In-home visits got rescheduled. But ultimately, the story here with Pier, Louie in Oklahoma around the commitment is Oklahoma got this commitment with only one visit to campus. I want you guys to think about that for a second. Oklahoma gained a commitment from a recruit by only getting him on campus one time. Yet, y'all think Bill Beatenbow can't recruit, and Bill Beatenbow's not a good offensive line coach. Well, let me rephrase this. Some of you guys think that because some of you guys actually don't think that. But why are we so excited about Pier, Louie? Well, let me tell you why. Because not only is he 6'3", 335 pounds, did y'all know this man runs track? And he don't just run track for, giggles and laughs. No, he actually runs track and beats kids. And not kids that are in the same weight class as him. So, Pier, Louie is detrimentally fast to any defensive line. He's going to be able to push those defensive linemen backwards. And Pier, Louie strong, right? Got a good body, good frame, and don't be making jokes about the good body things. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I said that. Somebody else had to make some stupid joke about that the other day. Don't make those kind of jokes. But Pier, Louie had taken 8 visits to the Florida Gators, 5 to UCF, and we all know that the drama coming down in this recruitment for a long time, we looked at Pier, Louie and said, yeah, he loves Oklahoma, but doesn't end up in this class because there were other factors that were potentially keeping him from Oklahoma. Oklahoma just said, you know what? We're going to go out there and we're going to beat those factors. Whether you want to look at it and say it was NIL, whether you want to look at it and say it was the parents, hey, it could have been a combination of both. But all I know is Oklahoma goes out there and they get a massive win and one that they really needed on the recruiting trail after losing Caden Green to the transfer portal. Now, the question is, where does Oklahoma go beyond Pier? Because although this piece is nice and Pier probably can come in day one and vie for a starting spot, which I think he has all intentions to come out here and do, where does Oklahoma go? Well, there's a couple options. And I don't think they're done on the recruiting trail. I think there's still a chance you see one more guy that maybe you haven't heard from in a while, maybe somebody that you haven't heard from at all. In terms of Oklahoma looking at him, potentially flip. I look at guys like Fox Crater, who is the offensive tackle currently committed to Oregon. 6'6", 285 pounds from Vancouver, Washington. That's somebody that has flirted with Oklahoma before. It's somebody that I'd keep your eye on. I'd also look at Caden Massey out of Linden, Kansas, currently committed to Kansas State. I think that one would be a little bit harder of a flip, but, those are names that, you look at and say, okay, Oklahoma could go out there and try to get those. Now, obviously, when you look at the transfer portal, you want to get some experienced guys too. So, Fabichi Nwewu, you've got Gino Vandemark, you've got who's the guy out of Florida? There's a guy out of Florida. I can't think of his name at the moment. And then you've also got the kid out of Georgia too. So Obviously, you're going to have some offensive linemen hit the portal in April. So maybe you could find a guy there, plug and play. I think that's what this is going to be. And or I think realistically, you probably want to take 2 to 3 more bodies out of the transfer portal. And then I think you would be pretty set. Now, you could look at guys like Savion Byrd, who entered the transfer portal from Oklahoma, but has not found a destination yet, right? You could look at bringing somebody like that back because we know Savion Byrd's got the talent, and maybe now he sees a way for him to be able to stay on the field and hit the field the entire time with Caden Green's exit. So it's going to be interesting. I think you're going to see an offensive line of something like Eddie, Sexton, probably Troy Everett, and then you're going to see Spencer Brown. And then if we land Gino Vandemark, I think you put Gino Vandemark in there because Gino Vandemark and Spencer Brown have some chemistry, and I think it's important to keep that chemistry. Now, there's a chance that a guy like Heath Ozida is going to come in and make a lot of noise. I don't know if you all remember him from the 2023 recruiting class, but Heath Ozida is a big body, and I think he's a guy that could come in and compete right away. Now, where does this commitment of Eddie Pier Louie leave Oklahoma in terms of the recruiting rankings? It leaves them with 28 commits, gives them a composite score of 276.44, which would jump them to the number 8 spot above Oregon. So you're moving up 1 spot. You'll be right behind Miami, Texas, and Florida. Now, Florida's dropping players like rocks, so there's a good chance that Oklahoma could, jump above Florida here pretty soon if Florida continues to fall and lose recruits. You're going to add Eddie Pier Louie to an offensive line room where you have Daniel Akinkumi, you have Josh Isosa, you have Isaiah Autry, you have Eugene Brooks, which I love Eugene Brooks, by the way, and I think he's going to be a hidden talent by the time he ends up getting Norman. I think a lot of people are going to forget about him because he's from California, pretty quiet, but don't look now. Top 175 player in the country, especially at the offensive line position, coming to Oklahoma. So keep your eyes out there. And then, like I said, I think you're going to see Oklahoma make a push for maybe one more scholarship guy if they can get one down the stretch. So one that really wants to come to Oklahoma. Obviously, you're going to see some PWOs go out. There was one sent out the other day, and I tried to find his name, and I couldn't. So I guess I must have not a favorite at the tweet. But Evan McClure also got a preferred walk-on invitation to the University of Oklahoma the other day as well. So you're going to see them try to take more bodies that way. And, that's important because we've talked about it. You get guys in through the preferred walk-on system, and it creates this competitive depth. It creates competition because those guys, they want to be able to play for their home team. They want to be able to earn that scholarship. So they're going to push those guys that are on scholarship to be at their best. So guys, I want to hear from you about the commitment of Eddie Pier Louie to the University of Oklahoma. If you have not already, make sure you hit that like, you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're joining the discussion in the comments below.